He does that, and I'd like to commend this bill to the House.
Chris Farfoy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for giving me the opportunity to speak to part two of this bill. It's nice to have the lights back on and to have a chance to talk during this debate. It's nice to have the lights back on. And as I have been having a Twitter debate with Tau Henare when the lights went off, I might just take this chance to just to touch a couple of notes on his earlier his history lesson. He might want to remember, and it's good to see the Health Minister in the House right now. He might want to add just one aspect into his history lesson, and that's about 2.5 years ago. The Health Minister, the Honourable Tony Rowell, said there was no evidence to remove the advertising, tobacco advertising from our displays. So add that one to the history lesson for Mr. Henare, and also I also received one of those letters from Imperial Tobacco. And this is one instance where I'm going to agree with Tau Henare, the fact that they had the nerve to send us a letter asking for them to have more input because they had the resources with the Ministry of Health to discuss issues around these tobacco laws with the Ministry of Health is a bit on the nose. If they're going to be so open, let's open up everything that they've got on the research that they've done into tobacco. But part two, Mr. Chair, sets up amendments relating to offences regulations to Part 1 and basically sets out the penalties that are available to authorities if people are seen to be in breach of these new display regulations. And I think it's good that this bill has teeth. It has a $10,000 fine for anyone who has been caught transgressing these measures. As a number of members have said, there were a number of submissions around what the appropriate level of fines should be for both frontline staff and also proprietors. And I'd like to thank the officials for that because of a number of many difficult issues that we traversed. Getting the appropriate level of penalties and fines around this bill was one of the difficult ones because we did have a number of different submissions, so I'd like to thank the officials around that. Mr. Chair, 12.1a sets up a $10,000 fine for anyone who is transgressed around here, but I'd like to concentrate on 3a, which sets up a fine of $50,000 for every manufacturer, importer, distributor or retailer of tobacco products who, in contravention of Section 25.1a, sponsors any organised activity, commits an offence and is liable for, as I said, a $50,000 for a manufacturer or a fine not exceeding $10,000, I think it is, for an individual. And this relates back to Part 1 for a CC in BC, I think it is. let me just go back here, and I think it's a 4CB and 4CC. And I think we should take notice of this because we shouldn't underestimate just how sneaky the tobacco industry has been around some of the ways it has tried to market without bending the rules. And the tobacco companies have been very creative about how they promote themselves at these activities. They have entered into exclusive sale arrangements with people who are holding activities, and also exclusive promotional rights. And why they don't explicitly say, and they can't, it's been illegal, push their products. They've been very, very particular about making sure they push their brand colours and their tobacco brands in that way. And as a non-smoker, I've been oblivious to these kinds of things, but it's amazing what kind of lengths the tobacco companies will go to take promotion absolutely to the wire. And as they sign up for these exclusive sole arrangements and covert sponsorship brand and using brand colours, I think that this law and tightens that up and also puts in a pretty hefty penalty of $50,000 and $10,000, as I mentioned earlier, to make sure that this kind of thing is cracked down on. And I think as we sit here today and we're all supporting these changes, I think we should also send a message to the tobacco companies that will continue to be vigilant, because as we change the rules here today, they will be looking for ways that they can manipulate the new laws that we're bringing in today to make sure that they can push their products and make use of their vast resource to see if they can jump through loopholes. And I'm sure that the Minister in charge of this bill will be very aware of that, and that all members of the House will be vigilant on that note. Mr. Chair, this section 2, as I said, sets up the penalties, and I think it's great that it does have teeth.
The Honourable Tauhanari.
Thank you, Mr.